Have you ever stumbled upon something so strange, so completely out of place, that it makes you question everything you know about history? What if I told you that a map drawn over 500 years ago shows a part of the world that supposedly wasn't even discovered yet, a map that appears to depict Antarctica? Not just any Antarctica, but Antarctica without ice. Welcome to one of the most baffling cartographic mysteries of all time. This is the story of the Piri Reis Map, a 1513 map that has left historians, scientists, and conspiracy theorists scratching their heads for decades. Buckle up, because this isn't just about an old map. It's about ancient knowledge, lost civilizations, and the very limits of what we think we know about our past. Part 1. The mysterious discovery. Our story begins in 1929, deep in the archives of the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, Turkey. A dusty roll of gazelle skin parchment was unearthed. On it, a fragment of a world map, signed by Piri Reis, an Ottoman admiral, geographer, and cartographer. It was a remarkable find. This wasn't just a doodle. The map was detailed, precise, and oddly familiar. It showed the western coasts of Europe and North Africa. It showed Brazil's east coast with surprising accuracy. But then, it got weird, because at the bottom of the map, where you'd expect open ocean, was what appeared to be a large landmass, shaped like Antarctica. But here's the twist: it wasn't covered in ice. And here's the real kicker: Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1820. That's more than 300 years after Piri Reis drew his map. So how did he know? Part 2. Who was Piri Reis? Before we dive deeper into the icy mystery, let's talk about the man behind the map. Piri Reis wasn't your average sailor. He was an Ottoman naval commander and scholar with a passion for geography. In his own notes, Piri claimed his 1513 map wasn't based solely on his own observations. Nope. He used over 20 source maps, some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. Wait, what? He specifically mentions using ancient maps drawn in the time of the pharaohs. He even claims some of the charts were from Columbus himself. So we have a 16th century cartographer compiling ancient knowledge from sources lost to history. And the result is a map showing places he supposedly shouldn't have known. Still think this is just a coincidence? Part 3. Antarctica without ice. Here's where things go from intriguing to chilling. Modern scientists, particularly Professor Charles Hapgood, proposed a stunning idea in the 1950s. He compared the southern landmass on the Piri Reis map with seismic surveys of Antarctica's subglacial landmass. In other words, what the continent looks like underneath all the ice. And guess what? It was a match, almost too perfect of a match. This raised an explosive question. How could anyone in 1513 have known what Antarctica looked like without ice, when the continent has been frozen for thousands of years? According to ice core samples, Antarctica hasn't been ice-free for millions of years. So either the map is wrong, or our understanding of history is. Hapgood suggested a radical theory. What if an ancient civilization, long before our recorded history, had advanced knowledge of geography, even maritime travel? He called it the theory of pole shift, the idea that Earth's crust might have moved suddenly in the past, repositioning the continents and perhaps thawing parts of Antarctica temporarily. Suddenly. This wasn't just about a map. This was about rewriting the story of civilization. Part 4. The controversy. Now, before we all go full Indiana Jones, let's pause for a reality check. Mainstream historians and cartographers have challenged these claims. They argue the landmass could be a misrepresented version of South America, distorted by poor mapping techniques. Others say ancient sailors might have theorized land in the south and sketched it based on guesses, not actual exploration. And sure, 16th century maps are full of mythical beasts, phantom islands, and imaginative coastlines. But here's the catch. Why is the Piri Reis map so accurate in some places, and so speculative in others? If it's just guesswork, how did they get Brazil's coastline so precisely drawn? And why does the southern landmass line up so well with modern science? It's this razor-thin edge between mystery and logic that keeps the debate alive. Part 5. Lost civilizations and ancient knowledge. So, let's play with a thought experiment. Imagine a civilization existed 10,000 years ago capable of mapping coastlines, understanding geography, maybe even sailing across oceans. They're wiped out by some cataclysm, a flood, a shift, a comet. Their knowledge, lost, but fragments survive. passed down through generations, recopied, modified, whispered into history. Then centuries later, a man named Piri Reis compiles those whispers into a map. Sounds like a movie plot, right? Well, let's remember we thought Troy was a myth until it was dug up. We thought the Amazon was untouched jungle, but it's now known to have housed ancient urban civilizations. Sometimes, legends are just history with amnesia. The Piri Reis Map remains a riddle wrapped in parchment. Is it a coincidence, a clever copy, or the remnant of a forgotten world? We may never know, but it forces us to ask, what else have we overlooked in dusty libraries and forgotten ruins? What knowledge lies hidden, just waiting to be rediscovered? Maps are more than directions. They are windows into how we see the world and how others once did. So next time you see an old map, don't just look at where it leads, ask yourself who made it, and why. If this mystery made you rethink history, drop a comment below and let us know. Do you think the Piri Reis Map shows ancient Antarctica? Or is it just a clever cartographic coincidence? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more mind-bending mysteries, ancient wonders, and hidden truths from around the globe. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring.